I think he really needs to do a lot of self-introspection, and that's really hard to do.
Was giving more support and more understanding and siding with Christine.
This is sad and it's heartbreaking, and the lack of accountability, or their lack of self-awareness, or the ability to self-reflect, is shocking, in the sense that this man, even at the reunion, continues to say some things that I don't know whether he realizes that his own children are watching this, and his children are going to feel some type of way, and long after his relationship with Robin fades, his children will still be there, and they will still feel the way they do about all the things he said in, his confessionals and his reunion tapes. And this shall be played till eternity, because the rest of his family, for the rest of his lineage, they will see this. Oh my God, I get so frustrated, and I get so... I'm happy to see the wives are doing amazing, but hey, it is what it is. Hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's your girl Valerie. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. We're on our way to 1,000 subs, hopefully by the end of the year. Click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Sister Wives, Season 17, Episode 15. Here we go, let the mess begin. So you have everyone getting ready for this tell-all, and we all know that Kody is going to try and control the narrative for this, because I don't get how, he can get away with how he's treated all his ex-wives. So it's interesting that you have him and Robin leaving the house that Janelle and Mary paid for, sort of talking about, oh, I'm grieving the loss. I'm grieving. You're grieving the loss of an income, of incomes, actually, because it was Mary had 2 jobs, Janelle had 2-3 jobs. So the money that they brought into the family is what you're grieving. You're not grieving their loss as human beings, but you're grieving what they brought to the table. Kody is, I'm not... I'm normally anxious, but now I'm not. And it's like, oh, please keep quiet. Christine is a woman scorned, so she's going to burn everything else down. And even though Janelle and Mary are scorned, they are behaving more maturely than Christine. Christine is going to say it as it is, whereas Janelle and Mary are always going to be sort of politically correct. They're not going to say anything that is malicious, or anything that someone else might interpret as being malicious. So you have Kody talking about how he came about to be married to his wives, and how, he was trying to live by the principle. And for me, this doesn't make sense, because Christine and Janelle say that the reason why they chose Kody, or the reason why they agreed to marry Kody, is because of how he treated Mary and how in love he was with Mary. And that's what they fell in love with. So for Kody to suddenly rewrite history and say, he chose to live by the principle, he chose to love these women. And it's like, but in your own mouth, in previous histories, you said Mary was your soulmate. So how did she go from being a soulmate to someone that you chose to love? Make it make sense. Do you have soulmates up until they reach a certain age, and then they are no longer your soulmate? This is why I agree with what Mary said last week, when she said that, to Robin, be careful that in 20 years you might be sitting where I am sitting. And we all know that's going to be the truth, really. That's going to be the truth, because how he describes his marriage and how he describes how he chose his wives shows that he is capable of turning around and saying he didn't love Robin at a later point in his marriage. It's the audacity for me. It's the audacity. Some of the things that Kody says, I wonder whether he realizes is being recorded. I wonder whether he realizes that his children are going to watch this, and they're going to hear the things he's saying about their mothers. And I wonder whether he realizes that this is why his children don't want anything to do with him, because of the way he belittles their mothers, the way he's disrespectful, derogatory, any bad word you could think of. He has displayed it, because he talks about, I chose to love these other women, whereas with Robin, I had this fire, this passion, this... And it's like, seriously, you don't need to say all that. Yes, you're heartbroken that they've left you, your money bags have gone, but still, remember you have children with these women. You don't need to say this. And all the women to say that they were in love with him and he was in love with them, and then suddenly he's downplaying that, doesn't make sense. I feel like he's always wanted to be, he's got this small d mentality, in the sense that he's always wanted to have big D and he hasn't had it. And because he hasn't had it, he's had to look for ways to make himself look and sound good. And this is why he's always been belittling or berating his other wives, so that he comes across as a great guy. For Janelle to say, she felt, I think Kody and Janelle had a loving relationship. I think their relationship was more functional, in the sense that they were more realistic. It wasn't idealistic, it was more realistic. This is where he had the thought-provoking conversations, and he didn't need to censor himself or be sensitive in what he said. And so for him, I think getting to be in a couple with someone like Mary, Christine, or even with Robin, he has to be sensitive in how he approaches situations, in how he has conversations with them, because they are going to be hurt. And I think this is why that relationship functioned a lot for him. And he really wanted to keep that relationship, because this is where he could go and say and do whatever he wanted, and not worry about the repercussions, because he knew Janelle would take it for what it is and should always be realistic and honest. And so it's sad to hear him criticize her like that. And for Robin to say she didn't realize that he really loved her more than his other wives. Where's she been hiding? Under which rock? Let us lift up the rock. She knows this, and she's played up to this, and she's made it seem, or she's given him the environment to feel like she was the best. She said she's always tried to treat him like the best customer, and he's felt like the best customer, and that's why he felt comfortable enough to express his disdain for all his other wives, which I personally don't get and I don't understand. And now that all those other wives are gone, I wonder how he's going to feel. I wonder how Robin is going to feel when she has no competition, where he's there all the time, and whether they're still going to be soulmates, as they say that they are. Interesting. And I love the fact that Christine was honest and sort of said, she recognized before he married her that he had fallen in love with her. So he married her knowing that he had fallen in love with her, used all the other wives for the show to get the money to set himself up and Robin for happily ever after. That's the impression that I'm getting. This conversation about Kody and Robin being each other's soulmates, I think it's an excuse. I think it's an excuse on Kody's part. I think it's people trying to justify his behavior. I think if he had managed to sort of sustain his relationships with his other wives for 20 plus years before Robin walked in, he should have continued that. And Christine is right to say that she's the first one to recognize that he's in love with Robin. But also at the same time, even if he was in love with Robin when he married her, I think he had the capacity to love Robin because he didn't have the stresses that he had when he married these other wives. I think because when he married Janelle, he and Mary had been married for years and they had no children. So that must have been a stressor, him wanting to start a family. I think when Christine came in, she continued with the theme of them wanting a family. But once that family came, then came the financial burden because they kept having children and children and children. And so by the time Robin came in, he had the capacity to relax and sit back and look around and see what was there, because there was financial security in the sense that the wives were working, there was the money from TLC. So this is why he was able to sit back, relax, and sort of enjoy his relationship with Robin as compared to the other wives where he was grinding. So Mary is right to say he had the capacity to love all his other, members of his family. Yes, he's entitled to finding his soulmate just like everybody else, but he still didn't need to abandon the rest of the family to enjoy life with his soulmate. And so all the wives are right in how they're recognizing that yes, Robin is his soulmate, but still that doesn't minimize his relationships with everybody else. He should have still continued to sort of nurture those relationships, but he decided that he had the money, he had the capacity to sort of have this, happily ever after. He didn't need everybody else. In my opinion, I feel like once Kody met Robin and fell in love with Robin, he felt, or he thought, that because all his other wives had these many children and they were older than when he first met them, they wouldn't leave him. So they would continue to be there in the background and support whatever, or be content with whatever he was willing to offer them. And he didn't expect all his other wives to realize that, no, we're not going to put up with this and we're done, we're moving. And so this is why he's stuck in this place where he says, oh, I didn't love them, because he's trying to protect himself and make himself look like, he is suddenly They're aggrieved when no, he abandoned his wives. Yes, he found his soulmate, but he abandoned his wives. He abandoned his children, but he continued to benefit from their financial resources. That's what I don't like. Can I call it BS? At times I struggle to find the nice way to say things about certain people when I watch these shows, because I have always promised that I would always not say anything derogatory. So the audacity for Kody to sit there and try and defend his behavior is shocking, to say the least, because he's asked about, how do you feel about Janelle? Let's talk about your relationship with Janelle. And somehow he managed to swindle his way up until he brings in Christine, and how Janelle and Christine are getting along. And it's like, that has nothing to do with your relationship with Janelle. You and Janelle were in a marriage. Christine and Janelle were sister wives. You've always said, or we've always been told, that sister wives will always get along regardless of the relationship with the husband. So please, let's not use that as an excuse, because we were always meant to believe that sister wives are bound together till eternity. Even after the husband passes on and the sister wives are left together, they will still continue to be friends because of the relationship that they've built over the years, because of their marriage to this man. So for Kody to suddenly make it seem like, oh, why are they suddenly friends when they are divorced from him, doesn't make any sense to someone like me, because the show has always made us believe that sister wives are bound by a covenant to be, close to one another, regardless of the sister wife's marriage to the husband. And so when he's shown the clip and he tries to swindle his way, I don't get how he just doesn't take ownership and say, okay, I am sorry for the way I reacted. He's blaming a Christmas tree and Janelle and Christine wanting to spend Christmas together. Make that make sense. That doesn't make sense to anyone with common sense, because that has nothing to do with their relationship with you. You were not being loving. You say you were being loving towards them. No, you were not, because you made it seem like, as that argument showed, that everybody had to be in good books with Robin and had to align with what Robin wanted in order for you to see them as a partner. Yet Mary had to forgo her marriage to you, had to do everything within her power to try and make Robin comfortable, but you never ever treated her with love and kindness. So please make it make sense. Make it make sense, because at the moment it's not, and I don't understand why the interviewer is not sort of holding his feet to the fire. I'm going to say this again, and I will leave it here, that Janelle and Mary are the adults in the room. Kody, Christine, and Robin are the kids because of the way they're behaving. Because obviously Janelle sort of hints that she knew they were going to have a fight, because you can't expect a mother to choose her husband over her children. No, because in this case, it wasn't even Janelle being asked to choose her husband over her children. She was being asked to choose Kody and Robin over her children. And why would she do that when Robin is choosing her own children? Why would she abandon her children for Kody and Robin? Make it make sense? That didn't make sense to me, or that doesn't make sense to anyone who uses their common sense. And so I agree with Janelle that, Kody knew what he was doing, came to the apartment knowing that he didn't want a relationship. I feel like he came to the apartment not wanting a relationship with Janelle and not knowing how to end it, and so decided to look for excuses to justify his behavior or what he was doing. For Robin to say, oh no, he was triggered by the Christmas tree and the fact that Janelle was going to spend Christmas with Christine, while he hadn't spent any time with Janelle or her children. So why should he feel some type of way about Janelle going to spend time with her children? Why should Janelle be asked to choose? Why didn't he ask Robin to choose between her children and him? Would Robin have chosen him over her children? Make that make sense, and I don't get where she's coming from. And for Mary was right to say, Kody needs to do a lot of self-reflection and ask himself, I had relationships with these 3 wives for over 30 years. What is it? Or where is the breakdown? Why is it? Yes, he's got this passionate relationship with Robin. He feels like that's his soulmate. But what is it in particular that has caused these other 3 relationships to break down? Because we're looking at more or less almost 100 years, if we were to count them individually and sort of add them up together. I know they were all aligned, but we're looking at least 100 almost 90 years of marriage gone down the drain because of one relationship. Make that make sense? And he doesn't have the capacity to self-reflect and ask himself, why is it these women have moved on? Or why is it I've fallen out of love with these relationships? What do I need to do in order to sort of become the best version of myself? Yes, he can't go back and mend the relationships, but he can mend the relationships with his children. He can't mend the romantic relationships with these women because they've moved on, but he can sort of be cordial with them because they have children with him, if you understand what I mean. In the sense that he doesn't need to be in a romantic relationship with Christine, Mary, or Janelle, but he needs to have a cordial relationship with them because they are the mothers to 13 of his 18 children. And so someone with common sense would want to do that. And in order to do that, you'd want to self-reflect and see where you went wrong, apologize if you can, and try and mend bridges. But I don't think Kody has capacity for that. And the fact that Robin is saying, oh, he was triggered, just shows who's feeding this nonsense. It shows who's feeding the nonsense and who's allowing him to feel some type of way and to sort of encourage that behavior and not sort of call him out for where he's gone wrong. And I think this is why he didn't want his relationships with the other women, because they challenged him to sort of reflect on his relationships and to sort of try and be the best version of himself. And so he'd rather be the man that is being fed nonsense by Robin, in my opinion. That's what I feel. I'm going to repeat this, the audacity. Kody is looking for anything and everything to sort of get himself out of trouble. The fact that he's talking about, oh, Janelle went on holiday with Christine, she chose sides, she sided with Christine, she didn't empathize with me, she didn't feel sorry for me. When Janelle had COVID, her sons had to look after her and her daughter. He was nowhere to be found. When Robin got COVID, he wanted to get himself admitted into hospital so that he could be by Robin's side. So the audacity for him to have rang Janelle on holiday to say, you need to come back and you need to get me supplies. Where was Robin? Where were Robin's children? There's Uber delivery. Why didn't he get them to deliver whatever he wanted? Don't they have shops in the US that deliver groceries? What exactly did he need? What exactly did he need? That he wanted her to pray to stop her holiday to come and nurse him, when we know that when someone is infected with COVID, unless you're under the same roof with them, it's best to stay away because you're just carrying it over to the next household. Make it make sense. This man is crazy. And I give it to Christine to say that, she told Janelle, no, you're not going anywhere. You have to stay here because you're not going to do anything for him. All you're going to do is deliver the supplies and then you leave. Besides, you won't get to see him. So I don't get this victimhood. It's getting on my last nerve. Please stop. Make it stop. Well, it seems this episode is mainly focused on Janelle and Kody's relationship, the breakdown and the fights that they have. They show the clip of him talking about his pacts and stuff, and it shows how shallow he is and how this is how I feel. I feel like Robin enjoyed the rewards of having the other wives around because they contributed financially to the relationship. So she was able to get the lifestyle or the life that she wanted. But she didn't like the idea of sharing a husband. This is why Christine said Robin liked the theory of being a sister wife, but she didn't like the practicality of it, what it entailed. It entailed, bringing your children up together, sort of sharing a husband, having relationships with your sister wives. So she didn't like that. As long as she was center of attention, then she was fine. But she didn't like the idea of being like a background singer with the rest of the group. So this is why they are where they are. For Kody to say that he didn't feel Robin and her children were safe around Janelle's children, that says a lot. That says a lot. Personally, I feel Kody comes up with these ideas, is fed this information by Robin. They nurture it, the two of them, and then he brings it out to the rest of the family. And I think for a very long time, the family put up with it, just as they put up with moving to Flagstaff, irregardless of whether they wanted to or not. But then they suddenly changed their minds and said, no, we're done. Enough is enough. And this is where the problem came, because he still to this point hasn't taken responsibility for his actions in regards to the breakdown of his relationship with Janelle. They showed the clip of them meeting up after the fight. And for me, the way he walked in, I think he thought, okay, it's been a while. She's ready. Let me go and sweet talk her and I'll get her back. And I think Robin was pushing for this because Mary and Janelle were the main financial contributors to the family. she didn't mind Christine leaving, but she minded Janelle and Mary because they were their breadwinners. And so for Kody to say, I am the one who gave the resources, I don't think so. I think his wife supported his lifestyle with the love of his life. And he is not man enough to own to that. And it's sad. And I'm happy for Janelle. She seems to be doing amazing. Mary seems to be doing amazing. Christine herself is doing amazing. Obviously, we know she got married. And Kody and Robin, well, we'll see what happens with the two of them. But anyway, the episode continues next week. I can't wait to see what else comes up. Thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. Click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 14. Bye guys.